the political side of it, and then there's the real story.
There's a lot to unpack right there. It wasn't quite the interview I thought that was going to be. There's a reason for it. This will be officially my favorite podcast I've ever done. So Reckless in Vegas, Jason doesn't, he keeps talking about it like crazy. You tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, why haven't you come?
He's never really invited me.
Well, I invited you personally.
No, you did invite me. Yeah. I'm going to go. I'm going to go for sure.
All right.
But can you tell us about the show a little bit?
Yeah. So it's an homage to what built Las Vegas, right? The great acts that played here in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Sinatra, Elvis, Tom Jones, Sonny and Cher. But we wanted to do our renditions.
What's up, Pussycat? Whoa, right?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, yeah. But we wanted to do our renditions. We wanted to pay homage, but yet we wanted to rock them out and do the style of original music that I've done my whole life, which is rock.
Right.
So a little more high energy. The lyrics and melodies stay true to the originals, but the music is all brand new, refreshed, reinvigorated. It's basically vintage Vegas meets rock and roll.
How big is the theater?
Theater, we have it sat for 272.
So is there like for you, is it like one of those traditional, like I wanted to be in Vegas and I wanted to be on a show. I wanted to do a show. Cause I know a lot of people who like have these dreams of like a live show, you know, like it's such a big deal. Have you done a lot of them before you did Reckless in Vegas?
I've been doing music my whole life. But when I was younger, I knew that I needed resources. I needed finance to be able to do it. So I started a carpet cleaning company in 1990. I was 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And that finance...
It wasn't Z-Best, was it?
It was not Z-Best, but that guy was kind of an inspiration in the very beginning until it all, fell apart.
Yeah,
exactly. We actually cleaned the carpets and we did a really good job, but it gave me the money to be able to do my dream. And so I produced the first couple of albums in the 90s, and we toured. We were on the VH1 Rock Across America tour. I've been putting out albums, for the last 30 years, really.
Wow. Hey, this is an unusual podcast because we have a rare guest who's from the Risk On Show, Jason Bartholomew. Jason, you know Michael. Why are you such a big fan?
Yeah, well, so I actually moved to Vegas. I was looking for a place to live. It was during COVID, and I actually liked the building where I am. Michael owned the actual condo, so that's how I met him and his father. And then come to find out, his father was, talking about Michael and how he's a performer, and that he's getting ready to do shows at the Sahara. He was going to be, what's the word I'm looking for, Michael?
Resident.
Yeah, resident performer at the Sahara Theater, which is actually probably one of the oldest theaters. It's still standing. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's the original Bones, right?
Just celebrated 70 years. So
yeah.
Is it the original? Is the Sahara the original Sahara?
Yeah, yeah.
No way.
And the theater we're in is the original Sahara Theater. It's been remodeled.
Way.
But yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you can hear the whispering of.
I thought they just took the name and built a new Sahara.
No, it turned to SLS for 3-4 years.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That guy got in a lot of trouble, and then Alex Morello purchased the property and he took it back to Sahara. So it's a brand thing.
When I go there, it's busy. Is it a busy hotel?
It's okay. It's kind of an island. They're on their way up. Obviously, they need to activate the Fountain Blue, right? That needs to get activated, right. And then I think there's some rumor about a baseball stadium being put across the street on Phil Ruffin's property.
Oh, I thought that was going to be where Tropicana was.
You know what? You're hearing a lot of things, but I think that's probably the direction they're trying to go.
Well, a baseball stadium across from Sahara would make Sahara a big deal.
It sure would, and we're just a little early on our residency,
Yeah.
but we've got high hopes for the property. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Jason, he said he cleaned carpets. I guess it's either play poker or clean carpets.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. He actually cleaned my carpets. Well, one of his friends did.
Actually, the guy that I sold the business to.
You still have a carpet cleaning
I
business?
I do not. I got out of it. And in fact, I would have kept it, but my managers forced me out of it because I was out being a rock star touring, and they were running the place. And they're like, you got it. We're taking it over. So I sold it to them. They paid it off over 6 years. And Carl Fonger still actually has the company. And Jason had a little, what was it, a flood or something, right?
Yeah, I had a little flood with a washer and dryer. And definitely needed assistance. Called Michael. And he fixed me right up.
If we're doing what we love, it's really not about that. But I want to create a viable business, a business that sustains itself. And that in the music business has been very, very challenging. My dad took me to see Santana when I was 6 years old in 1976.
Awesome. Oh.
And from that day, I dreamed of being a rock star. And over all these years, this has sustained my life. I have the same passion for it. I'm as nervous tonight going out on stage as I have been my whole life. It's performance anxiety that I call excitement, and I love it. And I walk through that fear and that excitement, and it's never wavered. So there's something
we have a
magical.
lot to talk about, and I don't want to bring up this last the subject about Bruce Springsteen yet, but you talk about being a rock star and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every rock star I know had some form of like, whether they, I know in a lot of them, I went to school with the guy from Stone Temple Pilots, Scott Weiland. Right? Who's not around,
story.
Right?
Yep.
I knew the guys from Sublime. One of them's not around.
That's right.
We know these stories, right?
Yeah.
And but you seem to have made it through that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I got off track. One thing about that carpet cleaning company is I made a lot of money, and I was always playing in bands, but I bought my first Porsche when I was 27. I was all this and all that, and I started to mess around with cocaine. And I don't know anybody that says, "Oh, I just started doing cocaine and my life keeps getting better and better." It's the kind of drug that catches up with you quick. And I got off the rails for a while. I struggled for.
But you were on the rails for a while.
Well, I was doing rails. Yeah, but no, my thing was smoking it. I like to smoke it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't waste it. So
I've only done it twice in my whole life. I was 18 years old, right? I did it after my birthday because football was over, and I did it again a month later. The time I did it the second time, I said I could give you the whole story. I'll give it to you later. But the second time I did it, so there's twice I did it, only twice. I'm literally being completely honest. The second time I did it, I thought it was so good that I said to myself, I can never do that drug again. It is so good.
Yeah.
People who have not done it's like, this shit's great, man.
You have
and that's the problem.
Tremendous self-will.
Well,
I
didn't want to go there, but I will admit to you that night, the second time where I was at a party and there's a bunch there, I could have did the entire amount.
I call it the great white lie because it makes you feel ambitious and we can do anything and accomplish anything, but then it dips down and you're chasing it. And what happens is we all have the natural ability to produce dopamine and endorphins, and cocaine gives you a false sense of that. And then when you come down off of it, your bank account's kind of empty, and both bank accounts, financial and your brain chemistry. So how do you keep going and keep that up? And that's the problem with it. Is I did it for like 8 years straight.
Oh wow!
And it really took a toll on me, and I didn't want to die. And I kept getting back. When I was younger, I thought that it was if I just had the right clothes, if I just had that girlfriend, if I just had that car, if I was just rich, if I was just
I'll be happy
star,
when. Yeah.
I'll be happy when. And I realized it never happens. And I realized that it's an inside thing. And at the very end, I was still strung out, but I got sober. And if I could just get back out on stage, and we booked a tour with the band Live, the band Live out of Pennsylvania,
Yep.
a big 90s band. And I got out on that tour. I was 7 months sober. And there was beers in my green room, and I had a bad show, and I went back and I drank the beers, and by the end of that tour I was smoking cocaine again. So it proved to me that even if I was a rock star again, it's not that. This is an inside job. So at that point I went to a relapse specific treatment center in the Bay Area, and that was 16 years ago, and I've been clean and sober ever since. But I put that as a priority.
I'm not trying to be selfish, but like a lot of things you did I loved. Like I'm a huge Cheap Trick fan.
Oh, yeah, great fan.
I was a gigantic Romantics fan.
Cool.
I mean, who wasn't, right, in the 80s stuff?
Yeah.
Cheap Trick specifically, because like to give to how much I'm going to date myself, I think it was like 4th or 5th grade where I really discovered Cheap Trick, right?
Yeah. Okay, you're dating yourself a little bit.
I'm really old.
Yeah.
I'm 53.
Well, I'm not old, and I'm 52.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm really old, and I'm 53. There are days where I feel like I'm even older than that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So you went on tour with them. How did that happen? I don't exactly. You opened for them?
Yeah, we were always main supports for big acts. We were main support for Live. We were main support on the VH1 Rock Across America tour. I shot a TV commercial, and the woman doing my makeup said, "Oh, I direct videos. Would you like to do a music video?" Turns out she worked for VH1, so she shot a video for us, and then she got us on that tour. So we traveled around with it, and Cheap Trick was one of the headliners. Romantics, we played. Talk about Romantics, great band. The most dysfunctional group of guys I had ever seen, fighting before they go on stage. And Cheap Trick even, Robin bought all the...
I want you to want me. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I need you. Sorry.
Rock it, man. Rock
Do you
it.
sing that at all there?
We don't do that one.
You don't, because you're doing Vegas acts, which was my favorite Vegas. I mean, I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan. And I found out recently my 17-year-old daughter is a fan of Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
She's a little eclectic. But we were singing it together. I'm thinking to myself, very classic. Will I hear Frank Sinatra tonight?
You will. 100%.
I'm for sure going.
Yeah. Is that the shoe in?
Frank Sinatra's a shoe in for me.
Yeah. So, these are rock versions of this, though.
Yeah, but that's always great.
Imagine Metallica for a second.
Uh-huh.
How would Frank Sinatra sing?
Anywhere I Roam?
How would Frank Sinatra sing with Metallica? What would that sound like? It doesn't seem like it would work, right?
No, I think it would work.
I'll prove it to you. Yeah, I
think it works for sure.
It's pretty amazing.
So you do 2 nights a week.
We do 2 nights a week.
What do you do the other 5 nights?
It's the business. This business is 24/7. I mean, it's really a lot of work. And look, I'm here on a show day. I normally wouldn't. I'd be here on a Wednesday, but you know.
Oh yeah, you're performing tonight.
That's right, because you're coming.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
Jason, what do you think of the show?
I've seen the show 4 times now, and it's gotten better every time. Also, he didn't tell you that he has special guests that actually appear and do some renditions of some songs that are kind of like old school Vegas meets new school rock. So you have to check that out too. I saw Ann Martinez. I apologize. She was amazing. She's actually a Vegas local. She does a couple other shows on the Strip.
Is that the Adele girl?
No, that's Janae. Ann Martinez is in Bad Out of Hell. She also has her own production called Alice.
Oh, nice.
Incredible. She's so creative and she's just brilliant. And like Jason said, we have special guests. Like tonight will be Christine Shebeck. We do things like Nancy Sinatra's Boots Are Made for Walking, but I'll put it over the top of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. So those are called mashups. The rest of the arrangements are all original music that we wrote, but we do a few mashups on the show. And so there's like 3 songs that the guest sings on.
How do you decide to do it? Like, how do you decide I'm going to have a show? Do you have to pitch it?
Yeah, I left Vegas in 2000 because
actually I think it's good for the audience. So let's just pretend I want to have a show. I've been a singer for a long time. How do I do it?
So the first question is, how much money do you want to flush down the toilet? That's number one. And I say that in a way that should not be looked at as an investment. It's money that if you're going to invest in it, no matter how good your show is, Todd, are you prepared to lose the money? Because there's a chance you're not going to recoup the ROI on it. We can't. You never know in this business. It's art. Art's a challenging thing. So that's first and foremost. How much money do you have to do it? But what's the show like? What's it about? Do you have a home? Where do you want to be? What part of the Strip do you want to be on? Las Vegas is the hardest place in the world to have a residency. And I was naive to that before we started that. But I know that now. And I don't want to poo-poo your dream, Todd. If you got the show, I'm going to show you and help you do it. But here's the reality.
I'm a reincarnated George Michael.
You want to do George Michael? Yeah. You want to do George Michael?
Just overweight. Yeah. I'll just
Can you sing?
I used to sing I used to sing cover for George Michael, but that was 100 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh. That was so I'm 53. That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Why don't you just join our show?
That'll never happen in a million years. You're wasting your time.
We're going to pull him up on stage tonight.
Don't even do that or I won't go. I'm not going. You do not want me to sing. It will be bad.
You have my word. I will not bring you up on stage.
You're doing something.
No.
Don't do it.
I'm going to sit in the back. No, if I tell you I won't do something, I promise you.
No, you don't want to because it would be a disaster for your show. Everyone would leave.
But then it's a comedy show.
It would turn into a comedy.
Well, that's fantastic. Sure. People like to laugh,
Was there moments in time where you took tremendous risk to get where you are?
I think my career is plethored with that. I mean, there's another side of ambition too for me that I practice, and that I'm always going to remain ambitious, but not at the expense of being grateful for what I have and what I've accomplished. It's very easy to lose sight of that. Climbing the ladder, I mean, even just walking up to somebody that clearly you're imposing on, but to get your foot in the door, I've done that many times. Picking up the phone and taking a risk and just trying to connect with somebody that you don't know. Cold calling, right? It's sales. Everything's sales.
It's all sales.
And I've done that my whole life, whether it was a carpet cleaning company or my music career. I just had an experience a couple of weeks ago about a month ago with the owner of the property. And I decided to impose on him. And I took that risk. It needed to happen. And that fear that we feel that stops us, I've learned to put that fear behind me, and I use that energy to push me into things. I deal with it every night going out on stage when I perform.
Being afraid?
Yeah.
Is it helpful that your wife's there?
She's very grounding for me. I'm high strung, ADD all over the place. She is a more, the minute I see her, I immediately take a deep breath and I'm grounded. She doesn't bite my bait, if you will. Like if I am in a bad way, if I'm stressed out, I become very critical of everything. She knows that's me and not her, so she doesn't bite that bait. She can set a boundary. She can hold a mirror up. She's very good at that, and I think that's why we're married.
How long you been married?
4 years. Been together 7 years.
Kids?
3 dogs and 6 chickens.
Really, the chicken part?
Yeah, we got 6 chickens.
Right.
You like
hen
eggs?
layings?
Yeah, they're all hens. No roosters.
No roosters?
Roosters are a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you like eggs?
Of course.
These are organic, nothing but love, baby. Nothing but
Really?
love. Yeah.
And I prefer mine with pesticides and shit like that.
yeah,
I got to make sure they're real.
Go to the store and get those.
I mean, I get those at the store.
Yeah.
That's why they're white, right? 'Cause your ears come out a different color, right?
Well, yeah, we have a couple of brown birds, and so they lay brown. And
Did they really?
Yeah. Also, double eggs. Once in a while, you get a double egg. There's 2 yolks and 1 egg. Yeah, it's incredible.
Really?
But no kids, though. So we just have the fur babies,
Are you going to have kids?
We're talking about it. I'm 52. Jole's 35. Now would be the time.
She's a baby.
She's a baby, but that baby, for women, it's a little.
Not really. My wife had twins at 35.
Twins at 35.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Not nowadays.
Well, she's not.
I think the
pregnant
issue
yet.
is your eggs. You got to, if you're going to wait too long, you just got to freeze those eggs. But baby, what's her name? Kelly Preston. After her son died, she had a son at 49.
Yeah, it's just risky. It can be done, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I don't feel.
You mean like the wife dies, you keep the kid?
Yeah, that's it.
That's risky.
That's risky.
Yeah, I mean, now a long time ago, women would die in childbirth, and the guy would be like, "Okay, now I got a couple kids, but no wife."
Risky in having a healthy child. Risky in the sense that I'll be 70 when they're 18. That worries me a little bit. Maybe they'll keep me young. I don't know.
70, yeah. You'll probably be young. It'll probably keep you young.
Yeah, it'll help with
You
that.
have a reason to be around.
What about the disconnect though with young kids? Like my niece, we've been raising my niece because my sister suddenly passed away 3 years
young
ago.
kids?
My niece is 19 now.
Yeah, most of them are stupid.
Well, but the disconnect meaning from my interest in she's always showing. She's a Harry Styles fan, huge. She's always.
By the way, you're nicer about it than me. They're not really stupid. I'm kidding around.
I would go with unaware, lazy, stupid.
Well, I'm not going to say stupid anymore. I should not have said that. But they're unaware of how money's made. Because apparently you can just give away student loans. You can just forgive them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay things back.
Well, that'll teach a value system,
exactly,
right?
right.
Yeah. It's a different time. Who am I to judge that? I don't subscribe to that notion. I think that values created, you create it and you go work for it. And I had a job at 13. My niece, who amazingly, she finished, she wasn't doing well in school. She finished high school. She got her driver's license. She had tremendous anxiety around it. She walked there. She got a job. She's worked at Starbucks for over a year now. And I remember how scared she was. She's walked through that fear. I've witnessed her triumph.
It's so funny. People think like, "What? I got a job at Starbucks." Really? Yeah, they're stressed out. People want their shit pretty quickly.
They sure do.
You get people up your ass about that.
Yeah.
Like, where's my? Hey, it's a cup of coffee. Where the fuck's my coffee?
Yeah, people can be jerks.
I ordered a triple caffeine latte macchiato. I mean, take an order from Jason in there. It's like a quad vente super shot.
No, I don't really get anything except coffee.
What do you get?
Straight coffee?
Yeah.
You don't get a
little bit of
macchiato?
sugar, raw sugar. Macchiato once in a while.
Oh, he's in denial. He's not being
He's
honest
in
right
denial.
now. Man, do you have an issue with how you order your coffee drinks? Do
It's
you want
really
to talk
just
about this?
hot caramel macchiato if I'm going off. The
Okay, now we go. All right. The truth comes out.
For sure.
We got to put
does.
him in the corner to get him to admit
It sure
that.
does.
Yeah.
I want to know specifically, like I want details, Michael. Now you don't have no obligation to give them to me, but like I want to know, like, how did you get to Sahara Theater? Like from the time you made the call until the time you knew it was going to happen. How'd that happen?
Well,
Because you are at the Sahara, which I might add is like a massively famous place. And tonight I have more respect for that because I didn't realize it was the same Sahara.
Yeah, it's the same Sahara. We were talking to the entertainment director before COVID, and we were about to do a deal with them, and we couldn't quite carve out the deal points right. And at the same time, Damien from Caesars called us because I've been working with Caesars too. We did a short residency at Cleopatra's Barge. Damien called me and said, "Hey, we have a room for you," and they offered us the Matt Franco room, which is 600 seats, which I thought was too big. And then they said they were going to build a room for us, and we took that deal. And they were constructing a room for us, a small cabaret room, 120 seats. And then COVID happened. We were supposed to open April 11th. That news came out in March that year. So that deal got pushed to the side. We waited 17 months for when El Dorado took over Caesars. They decided to can all the small shows and not continue construction. And a friend of mine works at the Sahara. He's an assistant casino manager, a kid I grew up with. He reached out to another friend for me and said, "Hey, we're interested in your show." They came and saw us play at the Italian American Club. And the next week we were in negotiations, and that's how it happened. So it's part of it is who you know, right?
Right.
But you got to also be out doing the deal. I mean, you can't sit at home and expect luck to find you.
What was that? Oh, relationships matter. It's the
Relationships.
R in Risk On.
It is the
Relationships
R.
matter. My producer's pointing out I'm supposed to circle back to Risk On.
You
Which
should. How many times have I called you and asked you what that meant?
My new book.
You actually the last time you sent me a text, and because I couldn't remember it every time, so verbally, yeah, it's brilliant. Risk On.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking it right now. Well, it's a Wall Street term that's been modified because I've spent so many years on Wall Street. I'm just thinking about upcoming events we have, live band opportunities for sure.
Oh yeah, corporate stuff, man. It's
Get
good.
F1 coming up next year.
Yeah, because you have a car, right?
We have
sponsor a
3
car?
Indy cars, which are Indy and F1 are close. I mean, actually, some people call it Formula Indy, but the Indianapolis 500, which has been on for I think 106 years, is kind of the staple American. It's the largest live event in the world.
Right.
More than 400,000 people attend it.
And Formula is
Formula One
brand.
is a little global. The racing isn't as competitive. There's really 3 teams: Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes that really dominate the series.
Mhm.
It's millions and millions of dollars. It's been romanticized by the owners, Liberty Media, and they've this Drive to Survive, which is on Netflix. They're doing a great job marketing the events. Not very competitive racing. But hey, I love Ferrari, man. I named my kid Enzo.
They're taking over Las Vegas.
They're having a
next
race
year.
here, yeah. for
They
sure.
are having.
Yeah.
I heard that they're really going to take over the town. There's
You
a
mean for that week?
suite. Well,
Yeah.
there's a suite available at the Wynn. It's $1
$1 million
million.
bucks.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're actually building right there off of Harmon. They're building an F1 experience.
They are. Oh,
Yeah, they're spending a lot of money there.
Yeah, I
So-
just think it's crazy thinking those do 200 miles an hour. Those cars are they?
That's more Indy. Those
it
things
is.
do more like 180. They'll get to 200. Indy does 244 trap speed.
On the straight.
No, on the into the corner, 244.
Really?
Yeah.
So the
it turns-
cars by design are a little different then too.
they're very similar. Very similar. The Formula One cars are probably a little more advanced because they do a lot of turning. They're more track oriented. I don't know. I'm kind of biased towards Indy.
Well, let's
but
go-
I love F1. Don't get me wrong.
Let's go back to 180.
I'm a Mika Hakkinen fan. I was a big fan of Jensen Button. I'm good.
So, but 180. Okay, 180 going down the strip. It's
Mhm.
never been done before. It's going to be quite a
It'll
sight.
be exciting.
Yeah.
Although Indy's raced here before. So
What was it? Caesars back in the day. Was that Indy?
yeah, it was Indy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid.
Yeah. So
Pretty cool.
yeah, I'm kind of committed to
You know what?
Indy.
We'll just cut all that Formula
We're not
stuff
cutting it
right out of the show.
No,
I'm
no.
going to be at F1. I'm having an event with either McLaren or Red Bull. I'm excited about it. I love it. I know Zach Brown. I've met him. I know a bunch of people in Formula One. I'm a big fan and admirer of Greg Maffei, the CEO of Liberty Media. I'm a big fan of John Malone at Liberty Media.
Are you a fan of high speed yourself, driving?
I don't know, Jason. Am I a big fan? of it?
Yeah.
You drive fast. Yeah.
Nah, I don't. Yeah,
But you got places where you can hit it. You ever take it out to the track?
no, that will never happen.
Why?
Because my Ferrari is more of the Mona Lisa. I don't think you drive the Mona Lisa fast. I've driven it to like 110 miles an hour. It's capable. It's an F450. It's the last edition where they made a naturally aspirated engine.
Oh,
So it has a certain unique value to it.
gotcha.
So I
you don't want to beat it up.
not only do I not beat it up, but I barely drive it. It sits in a garage that feels like it's internally controlled because it's the proper temperature in there. And
Someone else drives it for him.
Can I keep my cigars
Actually-
in your Ferrari garage?
Yeah.
you could probably take it for a drive if you wanted to.
I'm
I'm sure
rented
if you and I
them.
got some cocaine, we could do lots of things with that thing.
not this guy. I'll watch you do it.
Exactly.
I'll save you from it.
I haven't done it since I was 18.
You've only done it twice, and
Yeah.
that's enough, to be honest about it.
It was
That's-
great.
That's good.
Sorry.
I came to Vegas one time when I wasn't living here, and I rented I think a Modena. Is that
it's
I had it for a week.
yeah
And I was doing
for a whole week.
For a week, yeah. And I was driving on 95, and I was racing a vet, and we're doing about 140 miles an hour, and we blow right by a highway patrol.
What they do?
Came up next, we both slowed down. Came up next to us, and he pointed his finger at us and told us to slow down. And I don't know if he was on his way home or didn't want to deal with it, but we didn't get in trouble. But that car was something else.
Jason and I think that I was driving a Ferrari,
Yep.
and you were driving a Lambo,
I
right?
think I had an Huracan. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that same experience.
We were on like Boulder City.
fast
We were out in Boulder City
Yeah, we
doing
were
really
flying.
fast.
Yeah.
You'd like my car. You'd like it a lot. But believe it or not, my favorite car is the S550. I have an S550 Mercedes 2015, which I love that car, and that car is a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I don't know that car.
It's a big sedan, but
Yeah,
it
moves.
It hauls ass.
I just like the feeling of speed. I like to go fast. I jump out of airplanes. I mean, it's probably the part of me that likes the addict side of me that likes adrenaline, like that fear of walking out on stage. I get off on that.
It seems like you'd be a bungee jumper.
I've done that too. Not my favorite. I'd rather jump out of an airplane.
Have you parachuted before?
I have. Well, tandem. I've done.
Tandem.
I got 9 jumps tandem. I'm a little afraid to do it myself.
Why? Because you don't think you'll pull the trigger?
I might go right to the end, baby.
Right,
You know,
all the way.
all the way
I'm gonna
down.
hit the ground.
Yeah, could be.
All right. So my wife's not a fan, but I happen to be a fan of Bruce Springsteen. So what's the deal with Bruce Springsteen? You played with Bruce Springsteen?
It's strange because I was not a fan of Bruce Springsteen.
My wife is not a fan. I'm a fan.
You know what made me a fan of his?
What?
Years after I met him, I got hired by Dick Feeney to be in the world's greatest rock show at the Stratosphere.
Oh, wow.
And he hired me to be Bruce Springsteen. So when I was learning the
I can see
material,
that.
I stripped down all the material to piano, and he is a brilliant songwriter and storyteller.
Oh, really?
I really got.
There's a new thing with him and Howard Stern. Have you seen this?
I
whole
saw
thing?
it. It's fantastic.
Is it?
interview.
And it looked like he was talking about how you write a song.
It's you got to watch that interview.
I'm
You'll
gonna
be
watch
moved
it.
by it, and make your wife watch it too.
I'm gonna. She's
Encourage her.
I'm not like a, born to run. I mean, I'm not like, I like it when I hear it. I
Yeah.
don't like go put on Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
But there's some stuff he sings that is kind of iconic.
He's a brilliant
right?
writer, and so when I was at 15, I moved to Portland for about a year. I was struggling in high school too. I played with drugs in high school. My dad shipped me off to live with my mom at that time too. But my mom married a guy named David Phillips, and David Phillips' sister Julianne Phillips married Bruce Springsteen in 1985.
Wow.
So I was living there, and I was told, okay, Bruce is going to come over for dinner.
No way.
But you can't tell anybody at school. And I kept it quiet, and I got home. And I wasn't a fan of Bruce, so I didn't really know the levity of what was about to happen.
Oh, wait, this is fucking great. Bruce is coming over for dinner. All right, this is cool.
The Blazers are in a championship game. He came over, watched the game. We ordered pizza. We had pizza, and then we got him down to my bedroom, and we played guitar for about an hour. We traded off
Fuck
guitar.
off.
I got pictures of him.
Really?
I still have the guitar. 1983 Ibanez guitar. And we talked about music, but again, I didn't appreciate what was happening.
You never do.
Well, I would now.
Never do.
Bruce, if you're watching this, you got to give me a call. Let's do that little meeting again.
Yeah.
So it was as simple as that, And David went out on tour with Bruce. He got to do the whole European tour. They're playing for like 100,000 people there. Like big
But,
shows.
Bruce is getting older. Why don't you reach out to him?
My mom said, write him a letter. I'm thinking about it in my head. We talked about Risk On.
No, dude. So you played down Bruce Springsteen. How old are you then?
When I played with him, 15. 1985.
It's a big deal.
Well, think about 1985, right? That's when Born
Dancing
in
in
the
the Dark, right?
The whole
Courtney Cox.
That's where he went big.
He went
time.
huge, right?
Yeah. I had no idea.
All right. Well, it's not as bad as this is crazy.
Do you get starstruck?
I don't know that I get starstruck. I do think when it's iconic things, like sometimes I'm starstruck where someone isn't as big a star that I think they are, but they did something that I think was really, like, they may not be the most popular star in the world,
But for you,
but for me, it's like, dude, they're a big deal.
so your blood pressure goes up a little high. It's just a higher elevation that's going on. in the
Yeah, I
body.
think it's just you're kind of enamored with, like, I'm, when I first met Ed Carpenter had raced 18 Indy 500s. So when I met him, I was a little starstruck, like it said Carpenter, but now we're buddies.
Yeah. So it's just a person, but for some reason we put him on a pedestal, and I think I was better off. I was able to be more real at the time with Bruce than if I was a big fan of his. And I find that to be true with a lot of people that I meet.
I met Christian Slater one time, and I thought he was a dick. So I kind of like, I was on like a dive trip, and he was kind of like a little douchey.
Yeah,
I might have been
that's a shame.
I might have been a little douchey myself. Maybe he was a nicer guy, but I also made fun of him a little bit.
In front of him?
Yeah, right in front of him. Yeah.
Well, did you start out with that? Did you lead in with making fun
probably
of him?
let in with like, do you remember John Travolta in that? It was like he had this movie where it was like about thermonuclear weapons and something bad, Broken Arrow.
Okay.
And he's like, get your hand off the thermonuclear weapons. And I'm like, what kind of fucking line is this? Like, so cheesy.
He was directed though.
Yeah, I know. It's just terrible,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
And then
so you met him. You met him as a dick, and he gave you a dick back.
Yeah, I
So
was
it's
a
a
little
minute.
dick. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I spent some time with Justin Timberlake, and he was dating Cameron Diaz. And
How was he?
What?
Justin Timberlake. He seems like the nicest guy.
He
in
was
the world.
super nice.
Yeah.
And my wife was mad because I was making fun of like, what's it like breaking up with Britney Spears and now you're with Cameron Diaz? Now I knew Cameron because she went to Long Beach Poly, so I was like trolling him a little bit about that. But later I apologized. We sat. There's actually a picture of us at the Laker game with his dad. He was from Memphis and knew some people I knew, so he was very nice. But I was a little douchey on that one too. And then I went out with a pretty famous singer. And I was douchey to her too. I guess I was just douchey to everyone that was a star.
Are you working on that? Is that something we're working on?
No, I'm not. I'm not a mean guy.
Yeah.
So one time, I'll just tell you my only starstruck moment. This is a true story.
Don't put your hand up at me.
Sorry about
You're being
that.
douchey. Don't do that.
A friend of mine had tried to set me up with that one, sings "All I Wanna Do Is" Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Right.
And so he gives me her number. You got to call her, and she's gonna take your call. And okay, whatever. But I was getting a divorce, so I was not in a good mood.
She's
and
cute.
Fast forward to like 2 weeks later, I had met my wife now, who I've been with for 19 years. And I went out with her, and I knew I was going to marry her 6 weeks into the date. So my friend comes to me later on and says, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I tried to set you up with Sheryl Crow, and you didn't even fucking return her call."
It's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're with your wife.
And then
19
she ended up
years.
being with Lance Armstrong.
And that didn't work out so well either.
No, I think he got his ball cut off or something. I don't know what
I
happened.
think there was more to it.
Oh, yeah.
than
It was
that.
hey, I don't care what performance-enhancing drugs you take. You still have to win the Tour de France. This is the issue I have with everyone who says Barry Bonds should. I don't give a shit what you say. Take all the steroids you want. The reality is you still have to hit the white ball that Jason used to pitch. Jason, do you think that, because Jason was a professional baseball player, Jason, do you think that, can we get on him on screen like he split me up a little bit? Okay, Jason, here we go. The ball's being thrown at you at 90 or 100 miles an hour.
Right.
You take all the steroids you want.
You still have to square it up. It's the hardest thing to do in sports, in my opinion.
Right.
The
So
only
what's this
difference-
fucking bullshit about Barry Bonds?
Well,
taking
no. Because he's juicing. He's got the baseball bat only has a certain amount of a sweet spot to hit it square. So with Barry, with the steroid era, you had more margin of error to actually to take the bat to actually hit the sweet spot. There was more margin of error there. So a normal human being without steroids, if they hit the ball well, sometimes it would go to the warning track. Well, Bonds and McGuire and Canseco, it would just go like 30 feet over the wall. So that's
More
the
power.
difference. Yeah.
I learned something new every day.
Well-
Speaking of power, you play like every musical instrument known to man, right?
Not
Trumpet,
true.
clarinet,
Oh,
piano,
you're embellishing
piccolo,
now. Yeah.
flute.
Yeah, I do it all. Of
Oboe.
course. Easy, no problem. Unlike baseball, you have to be really good at everything. Baseball is interesting. It's always been interesting to me because, you can be 30%, 3 out of 10, and you're at the top of your field, right?
Right.
Okay, music, you have to play all those instruments to even be considered to have a residency show in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Not true.
And you do have a Michael Shapiro, Reckless in Vegas residency, and you're going to be kind enough to play us a song. What are you going to play us?
I am. I'm going to just give you a little taste of. Now, this is an acoustic guitar. This show is Marshall amps, and we're rocking. So
Seems like you're lying, though. I see a plug right there.
Well, it's an acoustic electric, so that we can
got
get
it.
some sound further than just this
so
hole right
not
here.
just right there in the hole.
You calling me on the electric?
No,
part?
not really. Just kidding around.
Yeah. By the way, this is the same kind of guitar Bruce plays.
Is it?
Yeah, he's a Takamine guy. It's
What's it called?
Takamine.
Takamine?
Yeah, they're really, really amazing instruments. I do want to also circle back to something else too. We have a new album coming out.
You have a new album.
It's a new project called Many Miles Away.
Many Miles Away.
The single will be released in January, the second single in February, and the album in March. And it's a collaboration with Miles Shawn. Miles Shawn is Neil Shawn from Journey.
There you go.
This kid is one of the greatest guitar players on the planet. And we're very excited about this music.
Okay,
So-
I'm a gigantic Journey fan, like over the top, over the moon, original Steve Perry guy.
right?
Like I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I'm talking. I remember being in 7th grade, and this girl named Christina, whatever her name was, introduced me to. She said, "There's 2 bands you need to listen to: the Scorpions,
Killer.
right?
Yeah.
And Journey."
Oh, yeah.
And so I dug her. So she's like, she was always like super sweet. Nothing else. Couldn't
She's
go
your
anywhere with that girl.
music muse.
But she's like, you're gonna listen to this shit with me if you're gonna be my friend.
Yeah.
And I was
good
addicted.
taste. Yeah. Journey was
Can't
great.
live without you. That's Scorpions.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But anyways.
I can't do that part on the acoustic. All right, here you go. Everybody loves somebody sometime. Everybody falls in love somehow. There's something in your kiss just told me my sometime is. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always. And if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big bowl and die. So there's 4 songs in less than a minute, I think, and it gives you a little flavor of the show.
Yeah, you know, I bought the rights to Kerkorian's life story, basically. From the author William How do I say his name? Rumpel. My favorite book, one of my favorite books, The Gambler, and Sahara was connected there. But Elvis, he brought Elvis to the International, sold out like crazy.
Yeah,
paid him at the time what was sick money, and basically changed the face of Vegas when Elvis
100%
changed the face of Vegas. Yeah. You're playing some iconic shit.
Yeah, it's definitely it's an honor and a privilege that we don't take lightly. Like, again, we've redone all these arrangements, but we were very, very careful. We spent a year on the album, which I brought a copy for you. For your car. If you have a CD player, probably not. But
I don't have a CD player in my car. I think I actually do.
Yeah, you do.
It has to be ordered now.
Yeah, we can rock it.
Yeah. So you can rock it doing 130 down whatever street you like. But, you know, we were very careful to not, you know, there's people that are traditionalists that, oh, you can't mess with Frank Sinatra. You can't do that. But we feel like we've elevated it, and we're going to introduce a new audience to these great iconic songs.
I love this. It's like have you heard like when Kurt owned MGM, they did this Hooray Hollywood, and it was like a revival of all these great shows they did, all the music.
I don't know about that.
No, it sounds like to me like is it more revival, or are you it's your own spin with rock?
It's our own spin. It's vintage Vegas meets rock and roll. But we do like we're very much in the moment, improv, bar bits like the Rat Pack. We're rousing each other. You know, the horn section. Danny Falcone was he's the trumpet player.
Wow, there you go.
I grew up with him. I played trumpet because of him in 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah. And then the drummer, Jack, I've known Jack's the first kid I ever played music with in 1980. We were 10 years old.
I played the trumpet from like 3rd grade to like, I don't know. So like,
can you still play?
No.
You can play for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And
all
it's like,
my lips hurt and shit like that. But I used to play.
Yeah.
I played at Cleveland.
That's the kind of, that's the brand of the
instrument? Cleveland. Yeah.
I had an Olds.
Oh, really?
Do you know Olds?
No.
Oh, I don't know Cleveland, so we're even.
What the fuck?
I don't know, man.
I think I actually still have that trumpet, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Mine got stolen out of my garage.
Oh, that sucks.
If you stole my trumpet, bring it back. I want it back.
So do you have a favorite instrument you like to play?
I love my piano. I've got a C6 in the house. It's a Yamaha that's incredible.
My mom worked there for 23 years.
For Yamaha?
Yeah.
What did she do?
She was a accessory salesperson at the actual company. She sold parts for wave runners and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, she was proud of that.
Not on the music side then. She was in the...
No, but she had access to the music side. So we get a lot of acoustic guitars and drums, and friends needed something. She'd arrange for them to get it. And Yamaha's pretty dominant in that space. They've been pretty good for a long time.
Huge company.
Pianos.
My favorite instrument is a 1970 Gibson 335. I've got 2 of them, but this
Have you ever heard of Sir Guitar?
Yeah, of course.
So the founder of Sir Guitar is a personal friend of mine. So
really?
Steve Smith, and then I can't forget the other guy. Oh, his name's John Sir. Whoops, sorry, John
Sir.
So Steve Smith, he's been here. He's here every week, every couple weeks, and
not Steve Smith, the drummer.
No, not
Journey.
Steve, not Steve Smith.
Okay, so Steve Smith works with Sir.
He was the co-founder with John Sir, who left Fender.
They're incredible guitars.
Yeah, very nice.
I used to endorse Fender, and I don't play them that much anymore. I got a Telecaster I still play for many miles away for the other band, but in this show I play the Gibson 335s. But if I were to get a Sir Guitar, I might play it in the show. Wink, wink. I don't know.
I'm not friends with John Sir, but Steve sold his stake. He's no longer there. Good luck with me giving you a Sir Guitar, but never know.
Risk on it didn't work. I tried.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe I can arrange that. It's not like he doesn't have any left or anything like that.
I'm kidding. I don't want anything for free. I'll pay for it. I don't want to be obligated.
West Warwick Station Nightclub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's was a tragic night. Were
you there?
We were out on tour. We were the main support for the band Great White. You remember Great White?
Yeah.
80s, 90s. We did 20. We had 30 shows.
I always think of Whitesnake when I always think of Tonic Attain, but it's not Tonic Attain.
It's Jack
different.
Russell.
Jack Russell.
Rock Me was.
No,
their
I know
big
who
hit.
it is. I know it is. It's just like I always immediately think of Whitesnake.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Great White predates Whitesnake.
No, I know.
Yeah. We had done 21 shows with them. There was 9 left on the tour. We were supposed to do 50 summer dates with them. We pulled into Rhode Island and Providence, and we loaded in and we did the show. And as soon as I got off stage, I was having a drink with a gal, and I decided to go out to the bus to change. And I heard screams, and I thought it was a fight. I got off the bus, and the bus was parked next to the building, and the whole joint was on fire. People running out on fire. I mean, it was heavy. Ty, the guitar player for Great White, didn't make it out of there, and neither did 100 people.
How do they not get out though? Is it just there's flames and smoke and they can't see?
It was kind of a trifecta of issues. One thing is that the capacity of that place was like 397, and there was over 600 people there. The stage door, which would have been an emergency exit, was not functioning properly, and the bouncer only let the band get out of that door. The other 2 exits, one was a hallway, which made it a bottleneck for people trying to get out. And the worst part is that they put foam, like you have the foam. I don't know if people can see this on camera, but on the walls you have this sound.
Yeah.
This is all flame retardant. This is all high-end foam.
Yeah.
The owners of that nightclub decided to put up, because there was a sound ordinance problem because it's in a neighborhood. They put up just cheap foam, and then they spray painted it black, which made it combustible. The other issue was there was no fire extinguisher by the stage. And the main issue, which has changed now, and that fire changed the laws, grandfathering in safety issues for places of business used to be a common thing. That building was 100 years old. It was, it was dead of winter. And so when the spark from Jack had sparklers at the bottom of his mic stand. And when he started the show, he walked out spinning the mic stand, and the sparkler and the sparks would fly. One flew up into the corner where there was an old light can that was already hot up there, and it ignited. And everybody stood there thinking it was part of the show. Now, I was already out of the building at that point. Right as they started, I walked out.
A sparkler started the whole thing?
Well, when you put the combination together, all of those things I just told you, that's what can happen. And not everybody even thought, they stood around thinking it was a part of the show. And then by the time people realized there's a problem, now the smoke from that foam, and the foam was dripping on people. The smoke hit the floor. I went around to the back. I was thinking about, I had 4 guitars that were still on stage. I was thinking about, I'm going to go in there and grab my guitars, because I was right there by my stuff was sitting right there. The smoke was 2 inches off the ground. So it came straight down. So most people died of smoke inhalation. But it was just one of those things, but it changed a lot of safety laws for venues and any kind of businesses around that have people in it.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't realize going down that road was going to be a disaster. That's so smoke's heavy. It's all the way down a couple inches. Did you get your guitars?
No, I couldn't get in that door. And we moved the bus. The fire department was there relatively quickly. Me and a crew guy were trying to help people pull people out of the front of the door, but the people that were stacked on top were unconscious. The people on the bottom were conscious. So it was crazy. All the tires started exploding in the front of where all the cars were parked. And so the fire department, the guy that was spraying down the doorway, had us get away. We ended up moving the bus away from the building, and it was surreal, and
100 people died.
100 people died, and I was drinking and using and partying. I finally was on this. I was a rock star, man. It was incredible. The tour, everything was sold out. There was literally cars of girls following us from town to town. I had finally arrived to that area that I had been aspiring to. When that happened, I was so self-centered about it. I was angry. I was angry that the tour was over. I was angry that my guitars got burned. I came home, I was living in Vancouver, Washington. I went home and I just dove into the bottle and back into my drug of choice, which was crack cocaine. And 2 years I used straight. I never once thought about the 65 kids that lost one or both of their parents that night. I never thought about how lucky I was to be alive. Only later, when I went to treatment, I did a thing called EMDR, which is trauma-specific treatment, that it all came out, and I realized I was carrying all that. But it just shows you that a drug addict in his grips, self-centered, me. And it changed the trajectory of my life, because I started to find gratitude in things, you know, and
Wow. How old were you then?
that was in 2003, so I was 33. Yeah.
We can't end on that note.
We can't end on that note
No,
because
that's like not the note you end on, right, Jason?
Yeah,
what about the idea of converting liabilities to assets? Human condition. You know, think about it. I mean, we all make mistakes. We're human. When we deny responsibility, right? What happens? We don't grow. We don't learn from that.
Yeah, I remember that. But there's been a lot of those kind of tragedies. Not a lot, but there was I think there was one in England, right?
There was a dance club or something that it collapsed or something.
Yeah, there's been a few of those kind of traumatic events.
That's one of the biggest in the US, if not the biggest. Yeah. I'm just not so sure that if you're not a big marquee value name that you can survive in Las Vegas selling tickets every night. It's challenging, you know.
Is it?
We've impressed a lot of people with our staying power and what we've been able to accomplish, but you're still talking, you know, I mean, we have 270 seats. We're maybe doing 60 tickets a night, you know, and we comp a lot and fill the room, you know. There's revenue, but it's expensive. It's expensive. We spend a lot of money marketing and advertising the show. I pay my cast really well. It's an interesting business, you know.
Right.
We look for vanity investors that just want to be in the entertainment business, that want to get involved in that, because there's a chance that it can hit, and you see it. If you do the pro forma and you see it, it's a viable business. How do you compete with Aerosmith? Who's reckless in Vegas, right? I mean, look who's coming and playing this town. Bruno Mars. It goes on and on. Adele, you know, and they are sucking up the bandwidth. Plus, it's a matter of math. Think of how many seats are available in this town, especially with sports teams now. How many people come to visit? How many seats are available for sale, right? How do you cut into that? So it's challenging, but I'm never going to quit. I love it so much. We'll keep doing what we're doing, and we'll find another home. It's got to be right. You know, we want to be paid to do what we do. We don't want to have to pay to do what we do. We bring the talent. We put the show together. You know,
right?
Why are we advertising for your property? Why are we spending the money doing that? You do that. You do that for me. You know, now we got a partnership.
Right.
My work ethic is off the charts. I will work 24/7 for you. You partner with me, you have all of me. It's not just my music talent, not just the show we created. You get all of me.
What do you think of those small venues? I've always like if you recall, my buddy used to own one. That's where River Phoenix died.
Yeah, Viper Room.
So what do you think of those small venues? I've always kind of liked them. Are they good, or I mean, you like doing those small venues?
I do. I like the intimacy of them. I mean, we've done plenty of tours because I've done original music for, you know, a couple of decades, and we play clubs and small theaters. The clubs are fun, you know. It's just about people. That particular venue, ironically, is owned by, I believe, Red Mercury, which is we're partners with on the Sahara. They did all of our laid out our marketing for us, and but I think they own that venue actually. I like the Viper Room. I've played there many times.
But I just meant like that style, because I was thinking, like, for me in Vegas, now that I'm here, I know Jason doesn't even know this, but today I was down in the art district looking at property. Did you go with me? No, sorry. I'm looking at opening a poker room. Yeah. Like poker only with a nice restaurant. You all right over there, Jason?
That sounds good.
Yeah, cool.
He's shaking. Does that mean anything?
He doesn't feel good. But then I look at these other things, and they're like these big venues here. But I went to a jazz club over on the other side of town. I thought it was I watched a guy. What's his name? The Elijah Rock.
You talking about Gambit? Where did you go?
Gambit.
Yeah. Okay. It's Ken Couture's place.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool. It's like
that's for sale.
Is it?
Yeah, he'll be at the show tonight. Actually, the owner of that place.
What? Oh, really?
Want me to introduce you?
That's the jazz club over there?
Yeah, in Henderson, right? Gambit and the bank, and it's got it's a small little room, supper club.
Yeah.
Poker bar when you walk in.
Yeah, supper club,
Yeah, well, my dad and I were talking, because my dad and I were there's a place for sale off of Windy Avenue in town, over by Town Square. And it was originally Rocky's Pizza, then it was Porterhouse Steak, and then it was 2 strip clubs. It's got 80 parking spaces, freestanding building, 5,000 square feet. We looked at that to do our own venue because you can control everything. And we needed to build a second building, which would have required a little too much. It didn't pencil out if it's building the second building, but it wasn't quite big enough to do what we wanted to do. But I love that. That's romantic to me. I like the idea of controlling all facets of the venue.
Yeah, so I kind of felt like in Vegas, everything's big.
Yeah.
You got to go big. You know, Adele is going to be at the Coliseum. It's big, right? And then it'd be nice to have some more like like kind of like, I mean, I don't know if they're doing that at Hard Rock. You know how they had Journey there every night? That's kind of a big, I saw Santana there. That's a big stadium too, right?
I played that. Yeah.
How many people are in that one?
4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not exactly intimate like I was thinking.
No, but do you remember the original joint at the Hard Rock?
Oh, that was a while ago.
1,100 seats,
Yeah.
beautiful wood. It was kind of like the Fillmore in San Francisco. It was intimate and beautiful.
Now, how big is too small and how small is too big? I mean, what would be a nice place, you think?
You're talking about for
Like a
my
small
act
little venue.
or
No,
for,
just
in
for
general?
like, yeah, like you're going to go to a place.
Yeah.
I think a Viper
500.
Room had like 100 people, right?
500.
150? 500?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw ex-ambassadors there. There was only like 100 of us invited.
No, 500 would be the size. The Viper Room's small. You're probably 150.
Oh, yeah.
100. Yeah. My thought is that if you do 500, you can play with the seating in it. You don't have to have theater seating. You could do 500 theater seating, but you could also put cocktail tables out and have different types of. I like multi-purpose rooms. If you're going to build a venue and have a venue, don't be restricted to one type of thing.
Is this like a Copperfield thing where you have like seats and then like a table and then seats and a table?
You could do it that way. That's why you need a bigger space. So you can, because I want to accommodate anybody coming in and what they want to do. I like versatility. And I think if you pigeonhole a deal like that, that's what you get.
Why is Gambit selling that place?
He spent a lot of money in it, and I think his focus is on some other bars. You can talk to Ken about it, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think they overbuilt it, and I think it's a tough location too. I really do.
Oh, being over in Henderson?
Where it is in Henderson. If you look at the houses that are around there, he took pokers out of there too. They had a 15 machine license there, and they took it down to 6, I think. I think the pokers were sustaining it prior to his purchase there. So, but it's a beautiful little spot, but it's small. How many people do you think?
Yeah, it was
there?
small. It was pretty tight.
Yeah.
And I watched Eliza Rock sing there, and I was like, wow, he was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I was pretty. Do you know him?
I do. Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, you know Elijah Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He's
small town.
Yeah, I guess it is a small town for sure.
Yeah.
So where will you tour, you think?
Wherever the money is, I hate to be shallow about it, but that's really what's driving it now is that we're a Las Vegas headliner, and this is what it takes for us to go out. And we've already done some stuff in Palm Springs. That was fun. That's not a very far drive.
Right.
We're going to do some fly dates. I've never toured or performed in Asia. I think that would be I've done Europe, right? Done all over Europe, done UK.
How do you set up an Asian tour?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. I'll hire somebody that knows how to do it because I wouldn't know how to do it.
Would you go cold turkey? Do they know you in Asia?
Yeah, you go cold turkey is an American act. We're not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't. This particular product is really hot for that kind of area.
Reckless in Vegas?
Yeah.
So it would be Reckless in Vegas on tour or your album?
I'm talking about Reckless in Vegas now. What we're going to do after this residency ends, right?
You would take the show on tour.
Yeah. It's relatively small. It's 12 people, including crew. 3-piece horn section, 2 background singers, 2 dancers, 3-piece band.
I know we're kind of getting into the weeds here, but like, what's something like that cost to produce?
Off the air.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what I
share it with
figured.
you. Yeah. It's reasonable, but it's not cheap either. So,
And you have to travel all them take them all over.
It's all incorporated in the price. That's your price.
Yeah.
And logistically, it's very difficult. Southwest Airlines, you get 2 bags. So if you have 12 people, that's 24 bags. That's not going to cut it.
How many bags you dragging with you?
Well, you got to think about all the gear, right? I mean,
if there's anything I've learned about people being musicians is like, there's a lot of movement to do all this stuff. It's a lot. They go there one night here, and then 2 nights later they're somewhere else. Then 2 nights later they're somewhere else.
it's sacrifice. You get no life.
You're dragging around, right?
People think it's all that glamour on stage, and by the way, that's amazing. But that's only 90 minutes, right? What about everything else around it? I mean, opening the show, I worked 24/7 for like even maybe 8 weeks prior to us even opening.
Wow.
And it was like my wife goes like, "Honey, are you on drugs?" She thought I was using again because I was like so excited about it, and I was go.
Sure.
But it's so much work. I mean, even you'll see the video content in the show that I've done all the videos.
Oh, wow.
I've created that content. We're all running in your monitors, all the stems and the organization of everything, the costumes. I mean, it just goes on. And then you get in the business side of it. You're dealing with workers' comp and payroll and all that. It's just like it's never ending. Not to mention marketing and dealing with all the ticket brokers in town. And I don't want to take the romance and the glamour out of it, but that shit sucks.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how, I've known a lot of famous people in my lifetime, and they've been at it for a while, and eventually they're like, I can see why they like not really wanting to. Some people have the bug, right? But others, like I do. If you ever seen this thing about like Bridget Fonda, right?
Yeah, love her.
Bridget Fonda was like the most amazing actress, beautiful girl, famous family, and then whatever happened, she just stopped acting and gained a bunch of weight and decided to let it all go, right?
You know why?
No.
I was hoping you did.
No, I don't know.
That was
why.
not rhetorical. I was hoping.
No, I don't know why. I'm just saying that it's an interesting thing that I think people just don't want to go through the grind, right?
Well, I kind of feel a little burned out on it, but I mean, the idea is that you get it to a level. I mean, I've always done everything myself. I'm just.
Yeah, but something gets you back going and doing it again.
Well, every time so today's Thursday. So if you talked to me yesterday and even today, I'm a little on the downside of the business. But after tonight's show, you're going to see me. It's a cycle every week. My wife told me, she was like, Michael, it's the same stuff on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, you're fired up again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love performing. It's the greatest gift in the world to be able to go out on stage and perform your art, one's art, and change the way people feel in a positive way. People leave with more than they came with.
Sure.
And that is the greatest. We're being of service to people.
We're launching a website. The actually goes live March 1st. And one half of it is really limited products between one of 5,000. But the other part is experiences only. Like we have this thing where you're going to be able to go to a volcano in Iceland, go into the spas of these volcanoes, a helicopter tour of Iceland, stay at this cool resort there.
Wow.
And they're all experience-based stuff, right? And a lot of times you kind of drag yourself to a show, but you leave after the show pretty inspired, right? You see someone who does incredible singing or does stuff that you couldn't do, or you see them doing it, you get pretty inspired by it.
Yeah, that's an important thing to do in life is inspire other people.
Hey man, I've kept you for a while, and you got a show tonight, and we're going to do a big deal. We're going to take everyone to one of your shows. I think the 29th or 30th. You have my commitment for that. I'm going to invite every single employee, and I'm going to get like a couple booths, and we'll get some food and drinks and go see a show. I love this stuff.
Thank you for that.
Especially since you're playing. I mean, to me, it feels like a little bit of old Vegas romance. I'd have a whole slant on that stuff, but I thought maybe you could do one more song.
Yeah. Well, we love the class and sophistication of old Vegas.
Sure.
People dressed up to go to shows, and it was an event. And
people used to dress up to go on an airplane too. You remember that day?
Of course, yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. You're going to go on an airplane, you'd actually wear a suit and stuff.
It's honoring and respecting and being present, and that's kind of what our show is crafted around.
Cool.
We love that old Vegas stuff. So, little Sinatra song. So we talk about original arrangements and renditions. And then we also we've talked about that we do mashups. It's where we'll take Mr. Bojangles by Sammy Davis Jr., but we'll put it over the top of Jimi Hendrix' Manic Depression.
Those are fun, yeah.
Or Nancy Sinatra's Boots Are Made for Walking. We'll put it over the top of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. This one is A Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra, but it's over the top of Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit.
No, really?
Yeah, so it's like this. When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights. We'd ride through the lights. Is that the lyric? On a vintage. I can't remember the words. I haven't done this in so long. It was a very good year. Sorry, Frank. I know how pissed off you got.
No, he's fine.
The lyrics, yeah. And then it goes into this. I really haven't played this one in a long time. But. When I was 21, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for blue-blooded girls of independent means. We'd ride in limousines. Their chauffeurs would drive. When I was 35. That's the feel of it. It's got this whole dum ticka dum ticka dum dum. But if you know Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit, that's the music bed that's underneath it.
I like that.
Frank, man, dude, I know. Learn how to fake sincerity and you got it made. Okay, I don't like that line, but Did I say that out loud?
You channel Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, they tell me Michael Shapiro, I'm supposed to stop. Reckless in Vegas is here till the 30th, and then after that, you're going to possibly go on tour.
Do some touring, yeah, and then look for Many Miles Away too. We're really proud of that album with Neil Sean.
Will you
Neil
come
Sean
back
song.
and when the Many Miles Away comes out, you should tell us about it.
I will.
Back. All right.
I'll send Christy a private link so you can hear the album.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
Cool.
Michael.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
No problem.
No, I'm going to explain it to you real quick. But don't be rolling yet. There's a reason for it.
So I did get that right. I did get that right.